Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Rise and Slay Morning Show. My name is Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success, and I advise and empower women professionals, especially women veterans, to step into their authentic personal brand to gain lucrative opportunities. So yesterday, we're going to talk about moolah. We're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about profits. All right. So if you are ready for this conversation, please put a firebomb into the chat because this is going to be something that, a lot of us don't want to approach, but we really need to be talking about this. All right. And as your guide, if you will, with personal branding, all things personal branding, I am an expert, if you will, in this particular lane that I am walking into. I am a keynote professional speaker, also certified image consultant, author of several books, y'all. If you go on Amazon and put my name into the search engine, you'll see a number of them coming up. One in particular that I have been sharing with a lot of people as they are leveling up their game. And this is a guidebook that I wrote about how I leveled up. Also, I am a proud United States Air Force veteran. I served for 30 years in the Air Force. And so after I retired, I started Slay to Success. Now, Slay to Success has many, many legs, but Slay at the foundation means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, to dream big and work hard until you own it. It is also an acronym that stands for Universal Life and Leadership Philosophies that really resonate with me, and hopefully they resonate with you too. And that is stay ready to be ready, lead out loud, a sense of community, and knowing you are built to last. So on this show, we talk about how we can use self-branding to accelerate our success, accelerate our visibility, show people, hey, this is what we are about and what we do and how we do it. And it's all about the perception. How do people perceive you? Now, after I retired, I knew I didn't have the long runway because I was in service for a very long time. And people who have been out here doing business have been doing it for years and years and years. So I had to accelerate in certain ways, and that was creating products and services and all the things. All right. So as you come in, please let me know where you're streaming in from. Give us your name, so that way I can give you a shout out because you decided to be here and you could have been anywhere else. Now, Facebook, is not allowing me to be great. I still haven't troubleshooted it all out to see what's going on. But you know me, I can get on here on his phone and I could see if anybody's on the Facebook side. So if you're on Facebook side, I can now see you as you comment. So let me know that you're here. Okay, y'all. So what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about whether or not you are positioned to get paid. Okay. Now, this is a real conversation and it may be a little painful at first, but then when you start to see what you can do today to get positioned in the correct way. Now, most of the people that view in are change makers, leaders, consultants, coaches, speakers, authors. This is all independent stuff. All right, we are out here with our creative solutions. We have innovative thoughts. We have ideas, big visions, big ideas. All right, so how do we get across that we are ready to get paid? Okay, because if you have a business and I have an LLC, some of us has S corps, or some of us have other types of setups with our business. We are in the business to get revenue. So we also want to create impact and influence, but we got to get positioned. People won't see you or know you, all right, if you're not positioned. You don't just get paid because you're talented. You got to get positioned. And I'll keep saying this because sometimes we need to hear this over and over again so that way we can start to do something about it. Now, our personal brand isn't about looking the part. However.com, that's some of it. All right. That's why I ended up getting my image consultant certification, because I really truly enjoy the visual appearance. And when I walk into rooms, people just don't know. They're like, kind of like, who's this girl? She's looking like she's ready to have conversations. Yes, I am. But I took some time, and there's a lot of thought and preparation for each place that I go. So that way I can be seen as the solution that people will invest in. And that is what we can start to strive for. And the difference between influence and income is positioning. Now, maybe you've been asking, how am I sure that my brand is aligned to attract the right opportunities that actually pay? Okay. Because in this world that we live in, our brand is our business. And you see people on social media, and they are constantly getting opportunities to go in and share their expertise or skills or leadership. And, sometimes we don't see the value of what we bring because we haven't really tapped into it. We haven't really thought about what's to follow and what's to come. So I just want to be real, because talent alone doesn't get the check. Okay. Talent alone doesn't just get the check. Hard work alone doesn't seal the deal. All right. I work hard. All right. Some of y'all have seen, like, I start at the beginning of the day. I post on Facebook a lot, y'all, about my workout routines. This morning, I was doing a 45-minute interval run, which means run really, really, really fast. And then you walk for a period of time, and you do it again for 45 minutes. Now, at the age of 53, that can become a little bit of a mental challenge for me. Sometimes I'm just like, no, I don't want to do this today. But I know if I don't put in the work, I'm not going to get the results that I'm looking for. And it's the same way, though, but we have to position ourselves. And the way that I position myself before I go to a 45 interval run is all the workouts that lead up to it. So I'm doing strength training. All right. I'm on the bike. I'm doing a lot of plyometric moves, because I know when I get to the run, I'm going to be okay, because everything is stretched out, I'm warmed up, and I am focused. So that's how we have to look at our brands. Is it aligned, packaged, and perceived the way that you would like it for it to be, that makes people not just only clap for you, but cut you that check? All right. Now, I am not the all to be all of understanding of in the ins and outs of, getting paid. All right. But what I will tell you is that the more that you position yourself, the more opportunities come, so that down the road, you will start getting paid, because people will know you for one certain thing. And so, why does this really matter at the end of the day? And it's how people see you in the marketplace. If you, again, are in business, you'll understand what I'm speaking to. You are now in the game of seeing how you can grow your business. And it's really clear to me that if you are a speaker, a consultant, a thought leader, a community leader, because community leaders, I'm working with several that are in the political space, they need votes. Okay. So, someone who's available, or do you want to be someone who's in demand? I would rather be in demand and have a waiting list of individuals who are like, I want to work with you, which I have a brand bully program. Y'all know on the intro, some of my clients that I have worked with that have completely transformed the way that they live. All right. Not just how they do the business, but how they live. Because I believe if you get in alignment with your values, with the vision, and with the ideas you have, the things that you're desiring and dreaming of, they will come. You just have to be consistent and you've got to be convicted. So the better we position our personal brand, which I talk about appearance, behaviors, communications, and our digital presence, those are the 4 areas of personal branding, the easier it is for others to start to connect the dots. And that's what you want them to do, because this is the person, that looks at what you got going on and says, I need what they have. Yes, I am ready to work with them. So, what are the insights or the keys to positioning your brand? Okay, I'm going to give you 4 things. Number 1 is clarity. All right, you got to have clarity. So, as many of you know, I retired in 2021 and I started out as a leadership coach. Okay, and after a while, I was like, I'm not a coach. All right, I don't even have a certification for coaching. I don't like to coach. It's not for everybody. I am a consultant. I advise. I tell you. I guide you. I support you. And I give you the real truth about what you should do to position yourself to attract opportunities. And so my brand had to shift. Now, I was creating a brand while I was in service. Slay was a thing when I was in service. Now, out of service, I've created the business and whatnot. And I really position myself as someone who helps leaders align their influence and their image. Okay, that the right opportunities really start to show up. But confused people don't get paid. I've heard this a number of times. I go to many networking events, seminars, summits, you name it. And this is what they talk about is a confused mind does not know what to do. So you have to be clear about positioning your brand, whatever it is that you stand for, which will now open doors. Okay, so that's the first one. So you got to have clarity. Number 2 is you got to package this thing up, whatever it is. So when I started out, I didn't have a package. I was just kind of like, I'm just going to go speak. I'm just going to put on some workshops. I'm just going to be out here. And I learned that that wasn't enough. All right. I had to really figure out what it is that I can offer. How can I position and package all the things that I bring? I have several books, y'all, that I can use at any point in time for any one of these engagements. But I had to have that insight, and turn these keynotes, these workshops, these consultant offers into packages. And once I put a price on it, it transformed the way that I have discussions with people who are reaching out and wanting me to come in and speak or do a workshop or whatever, whatnot. Okay. But you have to learn how to strategize and package correctly that makes sense for the industry and the lane that you are in. And because we are independent, all right, we are doing things on our own. This is where we get to decide what that looks like. But if we are not ready to have that conversation, especially negotiations, sometimes it falls flat and then we get frustrated. And I'm telling you only by experience, okay? I've been frustrated. I've been disappointed in myself. I've asked myself, what am I doing a number of times? Why am I not getting this right? Because I'm learning, duh. Okay, and all of us have to start from somewhere and meet ourselves where we're at. Okay, and then visibility. So I was that person like, oh, I don't know if I can get online virtually and do lives, do talk shows, get out here, wear these outfits that I wear and not get looked at with 10 eyeballs. But I decided that visibility with strategy had to be implemented in what I was doing. And I used to think I had to be everywhere, okay? Every event, every stage, every room. But the truth is, y'all, not every room is your room. And when I started showing up in the right spaces, rooms where decision makers were, and my brand was positioning and it was becoming elevated, this is when it wasn't about being loud everywhere. It is about being intentional in the right space where my value was recognized and compensated. Okay. Now, when I talk about being paid, it could look a number of different ways. It could be monetary, it could be, you know, on a stage where your ideal clients are. It could be, a return in kind of offer. It could look like a number of different ways, but it has to be a win. Okay, there needs to be a win out of it. Good morning, Leslie, and happy to Slay. She is coming in on the YouTube side of the house. Thank you so much for being here, Queen, Madame. So we're just really talking about, are we positioned to get paid? All right, because it is a thing. I think people just just want to go out and do what they do. And believe me, I was that person too. Go out and let me just do what I do. But after a while, I'm like, things cost money. How am I going to pay for gas to get to these places, my books that I want to offer, being here on StreamYard and they count that needs to be paid for. I am part of several organizations. They got membership dues. Like, things cost money nowadays. All right. But what I do know that is I have used self-branding as the tool, all right, to get me in to the rooms that I'm supposed to be in. And it's most beneficial for my business so that way I can get more clients, right? Get more opportunities to share, go to special events, right? Recognized and compensated. Love that. Get paper in your pocket. Absolutely. That's what we should be looking to do. I think a lot of times we get on social medias and we're thinking, oh, I'm here. People are automatically going to bring me in. That is not the case. It's a multitude of ways, okay, that you have to be visible. Okay. Hey, Chevy. Good morning, Queen, and happy Tuesday. How you doing? All right. We went over clarity. Then we went over, I'm going to get my notes, y'all. Then we went over packaging, and now we're at visibility. All right. So are you being visible in the right places? And if you're not, this is a time to do an assessment and ask yourself, what are the reasons why I continue to go to this place? What do I get out of it? Am I making the right connections? Are there any potential partnerships? If not, it needs to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, we need to stop wasting our time with things that are just not going to get us where we're trying to go. Okay. And I've gotten advice from many mentors since I've been in this journey. And I remember one of my mentors telling me, well, where are your clients coming from? And I share with them. Okay. And she's like, okay, so why are we continue to going over here when they're not there? I was like, oh, you know what? You're right. And I stopped going. It was as simple as that. Because there's a lot of opportunities. If you're here in the DMV or if you're in a bigger city, there are a lot of opportunities for you to network, but you do not want to be strung out and get stressed out and be confused. And a lot of chaos is happening because you're just trying to go here, there, and everywhere. The last thing that I would say, because it's one of the hardest lessons that I had to learn, was to stop downplaying on the things that came natural to me. Okay? I was downplaying the fact that I can hold a stage. When I get on stage, y'all, I don't know what happens. It's almost like I go into my own world, and I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I feel most confident. I have, my ideas, they're already arranged and aligned. I connect to the audience. I feel like that's where I was supposed to be. But I was making it as it was, oh no, oh no, I don't do that. And I was doing a lot of minimizing. And so I had to learn like presence, style, and confidence. That's all a part of who I am. That's part of my brand. All right. We all got different aspects of our brand. All right. Okay. So we got a lot of comments. Here we go. So Chevy says, if it doesn't make sense, stop doing it. Okay. We're going to double tap on that because too many times we're missing out on opportunities because we continue to go to the same place over and over again, expecting the same results, and nothing is happening in there. All right. People will invite me to a lot of different things, and I'll go, okay, who's going to be there? What's it about? How am I going to connect to anybody? Is anyone going to resonate with me? If it doesn't, in alignment with where I have my plan to be out. Okay, I don't even go. I'll just say thank you, and I'll definitely consider it. That's usually my response. Okay, Glenroy, what's going on? How you doing? What's happening? Okay, Glenroy says, when a personal organization looks at and is influenced by looking to have the insight that the need you in some capacity, even if it's somewhat outside the scope of what you do, an opportunity for growth. This is how you know your branding is not only consistent, but you hold a conviction to your brand and its impact and potential growth opportunities. Listen, you're going to get a clap because that's what we're talking about. All right. Sometimes organizations bring us in because we elevate their brand automatically. All right, we step in there and they're like, the energy. I get that all the time. They're like, your energy is off the charts. What is happening? Well, because I take care of myself, first of all. All right. I'm not trying to live a life where I feel sick and ill and down and out and I don't feel good. And I used to, listen, y'all, it used to be a little bit like guilty about feeling good. Because a lot of times women my age, and even men my age, aren't feeling as well. And I get in there, I'm like, hey, what's up? What's going on? Right? And they're like, oh, here she comes. So love this comment, Glenroy. Love it. Leslie says, yes, Queen, brag. Be responsible for amplifying God's gifts he gave you. That's what we're doing. And it can be a little bit like, oh, you're being cocky, you're being arrogant, you're trying to show out, you're doing too much, and it's like, no, this is who I am. And I feel good about it. And I'm not going to dim my light or stop shining because you think that I'm doing way too much. Sometimes they need to go back and they need to look at themselves and ask why they feeling that way. And then we got Glenroy said, intentionality is key. Having the ability to be seen, understood easily, and conveyed to the audience that they need what you have to offer. Rooms that you are supposed to be in literally merge together in some capacity for you to see your audience and your impact. Absolutely. I was speaking last week, and I was speaking at a military veteran and spouse and families event. And, the connection was, how I am, y'all, because being in service for a long time, I already know what people are going through. I already know the thoughts. I already know kind of the lifestyle. And I was like, I was helping them to see that they are much bigger than what they think they were. And like the military isn't their defining moment, that there is so much more life to live after service. And they need just to get after it. They need to stop second guessing themselves, doubting themselves, and just do. And Glenroy says, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. If you play good, you get paid good. And when you get paid good, it opens up opportunity to galvanize brand and legacy. I'm going to receive that. Okay. 1,001%, Glenroy, because that is so true. All right. Like, that's why I start out the day working on me. I have to. If I don't work on me at the beginning of the day, I don't know what's going to happen for the rest of the day. And not only do I have business, y'all, okay, I got a husband and a child, and he's not a child, he's a young man now, that still require me to be present and show up. So things that we do in our everyday life, and that's why I say like self-branding is about the reflection of your lifestyle. It has to be in alignment and it has to be congruent. A lot of times people are all off. I'll see somebody online and I meet him in person. I'm like, who is this person? I don't even know. Like, that's not the same thing. So I absolutely agree. Okay. So when I knew that I was downplaying my presence, my style, my confidence, and I was like, that's what people want from me. I was like, I'm not just an ordinary woman. I'm extraordinary in my own right. And I believe in myself. I trust in myself. And when I started owning my confidence, that's when, I gave people permission to invest in me. And believe in me, y'all, I'm hashtag booked and busy. So I am grateful that I stopped playing into, well, I don't know, like I don't know how to show up in here. I'm just going to step back. I'm going to sit in the back and be quiet and not say anything. And I'm like, that's not it. So I had to shift my mindset. So this is all about mindset too, right? Where we are not just sharing wisdom, we are offering transformation. This is what Slay Nations should, I say Slay Nationers, that's what we do. We're influencers, we're change makers, we're trailblazers, and we offer transformation. And this transformation is worth investing in. All right. People want to be transformed more so nowadays than ever. So, what is it that you are doing to position yourself to make yourself readily accessible to the opportunities that match the level of brilliance that you have? Okay? So, let's just make sure that we're not chasing opportunities. Okay? We are positioning ourselves and attracting the opportunities so they find you. All right? And you cannot be the best kept secret. All right? I always say in my head, I'm the only viable option. All right? In the space in which I am occupying right now. I got to continue on this path and continue to show up. People know when I'm going to be online because I posted out like, hey, I'm going to be on the show. If I'm not, I post it out, say, hey, we will resume on another day. All right. How are people finding you? You said this is good. Permission to invest in you. Yes. I'm just saying, like, that's what, some of this wisdom of how you grow older, when people say, oh my gosh, I don't want to age, whatever. I'm like, aging is one of the most powerful things because you gain a lot of insight. All right. And I stopped looking at what everyone else is doing and I'm going in the flow of what I was designed to do. And now I just say, you know what? When I show up, I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to have conversations. Okay, Glenroy says the intentional work that we do in and on in our personal lives definitely have to be congruent to the image we portray in the professional world. Authenticity is necessary. We see your early morning videos of your workout routine. I'm sure those you work with also see them. These things are details that prove you are who you say you are, and the image you have is not an act. It is not an act, y'all. Okay. And a lot of times, Glenroy, when I post these videos, I usually don't have the music behind it to kind of like block out how I'm breathing and the running on the treadmill because I want to make sure that people know. And I have my do-rag on my head because this hair be flying everywhere and I do not like it in my face when I'm running. That's how I work out. All right. And I used to be a little bit like, I don't want to show all that. But now I'm like, people need to see this. If I can do it, you can do it too. It may take time and it doesn't come overnight, just like anything that we have done. So most of us have done many years in a career and we didn't make it overnight. We didn't have that success overnight. It took years, 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 years. So why do we expect the same thing to happen in the lane that we're in? Now we can accelerate for sure, but it's going to take time. All right. And this is not an act. This is all me. Okay, y'all. It's all me. And so I would just want to ask you, everyone, are you positioned as the go-to? Okay. If you're not positioned as the go-to, then we need to make sure that we take a little bit of time and find out why. All right. And of course, I take clients. I got clients right now on the Brand Boldly program, which is a 6-week virtual course that we're going through each one of the steps of processes. It's like a blueprint of how you can start to elevate your brand for the opportunities that you're trying to go after. And then once you get them, you got to maintain. Okay. Because all of what we do is in the vein of leaving our name or making a name for ourselves. It's not being famous or anything like that, but making a name for ourselves in the communities that we are in, because more and more leaders are needed ever than before. Okay. So hopefully this helped many of us. All right. And I know firsthand, I remember being next to you on the treadmill at Dark 30 when you were my shirt. Listen, y'all, I have been working out for a very long time, over 30 years. And when I was in service, I was very strong when I was in service because I used to have to lead physical training. And when I became a first sergeant, and that's what Glenroy is talking about, the nickname for a first sergeant is a shirt. And the first sergeant is really that person's that takes the lead, especially for enlisted personnel in the military. And they act as the, disciplinarian, motivator, sometimes a little bit of motherhood, sisterhood, financial, guidance. I mean, you do it all from A to Z. And one of those things, of course, was making sure everybody was physically fit. Now, if that was the case, I took that on a whole nother different level. So before I went and led the physical training for all the people, I would go and work out on my own because I was like, you know what, I got to get my workout in because it's not as intense as when everybody else is doing it because everybody has different levels. But anyway, it was a whole situation. So yeah. So Glenroy said, position yourself as a go-to, sometimes requiring doing background research on potential clients and framing how you can work with them along the lines of what they need. And absolutely. And also, they will tell you how they see you. Your clients or whoever you work with or however you navigate the world in which you are in, they will tell you how they perceive you. And that is one way to set up products, services, or whatnot for your particular client. Now, again, this conversation is for people who are independent, all right, that are in business, if you will, and they need a tool, okay? Because personal branding, self-branding is a tool that you use to get your name out there. And so I just went over 4 different things that you need to pay attention to, which is clarity, packaging, visibility, and your confidence level. Okay, so this is the Rise and Slay show. I want to thank all of you who were here live with me this morning. We had Leslie, Chevy, Glenroy, all here with me this morning. I just want to make sure there was no one on Facebook land because, sometimes it'd be over there and we had a few people viewing in, but, Glenroy. Glenroy also said consistent and convicted. That's a good philosophy. And so, okay, so you posted on both sides, right? You posted on Facebook and LinkedIn. I see that. I thank you very much for doing that, Glenroy. I really, really do. You're one of my biggest supporters. And y'all, as we continue on into this journey, all right, make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Really, like truly. Let's make sure that if we got things that we need to pay attention to, that we do that. This past weekend, I forgot to take my blood pressure medication with us on a trip. And me and my husband celebrated our 22nd anniversary. And I was like, what am I doing? Okay, no. So Dominica's like, next time we go on a trip, I'm going to make sure that you have your medication because I do not want anything happening to you. And I was like, you know what, babe? I understand because I don't want anything happening to me. But we all need to make sure that we are doing our due diligence, all right, and paying attention to ourselves because we got a lot to do. Okay, we got a lot of impact to make. We got a lot of transformation to do. And we just need to continue to show up. So thank you so much, y'all, for being here on the Rise and Slay morning show. And of course, keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. And if you need more support or guidance with your self-branding journey, come see about me, okay? Or drink beet juice the entire time. Or do that, okay? Great advice. Good morning. All right, y'all. Keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.